Albert, first off, we are here at Einar Hessel in Herning. Sten Hessel, one of the founders of the club, his company. First off, what do you think of the surroundings?
It's very nice. I've been here before, and it's a very nice place, very nice cars, and I'm a big fan of Mercedes as well. That is also is a car. When you drive a Mercedes, you really feel it, and also the people in the company, they treat me very well.
So just to start off somewhere, how do you feel now you've been here for some months? How has it been to become the head coach of FC Midtjylland?
First, I'm very happy. That is my feeling. When people ask me, how are you? The first answer that it comes out of my words is, I'm very happy. I remember the first talks that I had with Sven, with Uwe, with Klaus, when they were talking about the club, about the environment inside of the club, the family, the region, the area, the way that they think. I said to them the other day, it's even better than I expect. That I'm very pleased to have the chance to train here in FC Midtjylland.
And how has it been personal for you to return to Denmark, a country which you and your family lived in for some years earlier on?
I always explain when I was in Barcelona and I wanted to move, I made a profile where you want to live, which kind of society you want to join. And it came the first thing I said, for my kids and for my family is very good, the north of Europe. And was very nice. The first time I could go to Holland, then I went to Denmark, and also I had the chance to live in Germany. That for us, this kind of mentality, work ethics in the Nordic countries, and especially in Denmark, is something that is really special and really you can feel it. But also because are two countries that I know very well. I know the clubs, I know a lot of people, I know journalists, I know players, I know the federation, that I have a lot of knowledge, and that it makes my approach to the league easier and faster.
How has it been for you to take over a club while the season has started? Normally you see it in the pre-season, either in the summer or winter. How has that been for you?
You don't have choose. You cannot choose. That means when the opportunity came, that is the situation that I got, that nobody could change it, and I knew it that these 3 months will be very, very high demanding for everybody, not only for me, but of course I have the extra job to adapt to the club as quick as possible. That is what I tried. Just try to prepare the next game as best as possible. That is the way that I approach that, game by game.
Coming as a new head coach, you have your ideas and you want to show, maybe have your own touch. How do you approach it?
I think that is one of the most difficult parts. How much information you deliver to the players, how much information you deliver to also to your staff, because you have to tell them a lot of things, but also if you overload them is also bad. And especially when you have to play every 3 days, that you have the preparation of the game, you have the evaluation of the game, but also you have to prepare the players, the staff, the people around you for a short term, for a medium term, and also for a long term with the aims that we are looking for the club. It's like connecting dots. No, this phase that you connect a lot of dots, or everything it makes sense and everything is connected. And when you arrive to this stage, I think is when you start to be a coach. Before, you make a lot of mistakes.
So your first match ahead of FC Midtjylland was a difficult one, away against Brøndby. So how was it for you returning to Brøndby, and how did you experience the game against them?
That is a question that everybody was telling me. What unlucky you are that the first game has to be in Brøndby, away. I say, why unlucky? Never forget that it's just a game. Home, away, is just a game. And of course, it's not easy to win in Brøndby, but at the end you have to play everywhere. And almost we couldn't train. Was not the perfect game. Was very good because we won. But when you see the game back, was not the perfect game. but they had the belief, they had the hope, they play with a lot of energy. They really wanted to win that game. That means I think we won that game not because of tactics. I think we won that game because the mental part of the players, the way that they approach that game. And of course, you get different feelings. I had a lot of friends still in Bromby, and but in the other hand was very nice.
Looking back at the games we played in the Super League, how's your impression of the Danish League in 2022 and the campaign that we put together?
We are not satisfied in Super League. I am missing 3-4 points at least from we expected, also the players as well, the club as well. Also in the way of playing. We had too many ups and downs. We start too many times in too low level. Or at the end, sometimes at the end of the games, the last 10 minutes, I think there is a lot of mental part of it as well. And of course, when you play one fantastic European game in Europe, then you have to perform after 3 days. Is difficult. The concentration, the preparation, the tiredness. The players have to play a lot of games in a row. That means that you cannot play good every game. That there is some players that they fail. That it looks that they fail in the Superliga, and they keep the energy for the European games. And that is something that we don't accept that. And the players cannot accept that. First, everybody knows that it's very difficult to win 3 points right now in Superliga. To win every game, you really have to be concentrated 90 minutes, 3 minutes. Don't do easy mistakes. Don't give away too much. There is also something that we have to work to raise our bottom level much more. Much more. We have to be more dangerous. We have to play with much more confidence. We have to play more aggressive. We have to create more chances. I want more crosses. I want more players into the box. Well, I think we have a big room out there to improve if we want to have any chance in Super League.
You know, regret is like a strong word, but is there anything that you would have done differently if you had the possibility to change in the past?
Yes, for sure. Without any doubt. For example, I think at the end of the last month, I should deliver less information to the players. And some trainings I should train a little bit shorter. And in some games I should make substitutions earlier. But I cannot change that. But I learn from that.
And a group we need to address as well, talking about the autumn, is the fans. They showed massive support both home and away. What does it mean for the team to have the crowd in the back supporting them no matter the results?
Everything we do is for the fans. I think that it says everything. And I always say with the team, we win together and we lose together. And when we lose, to see the fans there, and of course sometimes they are disappointed and they have the right to be disappointed, we have to make them happy with our performance, with our energy, with our way of playing, with our belief, with our behavior. But we cannot do it without the fans. That means please come back. every game we need you.
What does it mean to you to coach a team playing in Europe and not only just domestic? What are the perspectives in leading a club in Europe?
That was one of my demands when I was looking for a team. Has to be a team who fights for titles. Has to be a team who has the chance to play in Europe. And that is why when FC Midtjylland came, I said, this is the right one for me. It has been amazing. It has been fantastic the way that the players handled the games. It was a very difficult group. It was a really difficult group. I think at the beginning people underestimate Sturm. And also I think that the other teams underestimate FC Midtjylland. everybody thought, oh, this is a group that Feyenoord and Lazio, they will qualify without any problem. And then they figured out that Sturm Graz was stronger than everybody thought, and FC Midtjylland was stronger than everybody thought at the beginning. We never lose a game before the game. Maybe at the end of the game, but not before. That means when we go out there, we always have to have the feeling that today we can win. Not today we can draw. So today we can win. With this belief, we will do whatever we can to try to win the game. And then, if they are better than us, okay. But at least we did whatever we can. That was that's what my biggest approach. To try to give them confidence, to give them belief. Because usually when we play against Lazio, against Feyenoord, what happened? The team is dropping, you are defending all the time, and just hope maybe one set piece or maybe one counter-attack. That I say, if we lose in our way of playing. That means it's playing forward, pressing forward, making counter-attacks, in that way. That is also we talk a lot about. That means at the end of the game, when we look at each other, that we tried to do it in our way. And that was nice to see against Lazio, for example, or against Feyenoord, after losing 0-2. And then we bounce back and with the courage. That was a very difficult moment, no? The way that we talk in the halftime, how the words that we say to each other about, come on, it's 0-2, I know it's hard, but don't lose the hope. The difference in the field, it has not been for 0-2. That means we have to continue in the same way, even with more energy, even with more belief. And that is what I try to help them, to understand that they can do it. And to arrive at the end of the group stage with everybody 8 points, with that has to be decided for the goals. It never happened before in the history of Europa League, but also not in the history of Champions League. Imagine how close it has been. I mean, it has been the most difficult. Then I'm very satisfied when you see that after we lost in Sturm Graz away 0-1, that of course, especially the first half was not really a good game at all. And we lost at home in Superliga. And then we had to play again against Lazio. The way that the team react to that game, the way that the players faced that game, that was really amazing. And that was a turning point that it helped us. Okay, we can play against anybody. I remember that I looked one moment on the stands to see the faces of the fans, and I feel it in that moment that was special. I can remember some faces of people from that was okay, wow, this is wow. I think everybody knew that okay, today is a special day. And people were talking about it's the best day in Europe in the history of Midtjylland. There is one game against Manchester United as well that is also very important in the history of Midtjylland. But I think everybody had the feeling that, okay, today it has been a magical night. And I think that we qualify in Europe because of that game. Because we were very down after we lost against Sturm Graz, because it's one of these games that you expect to win. And I could feel it with the players, with the people around the club, with the staff, that people say, okay, we don't have nothing to do to qualify. But then, after the Lazio, then was the opposite. Okay, now we can beat everybody. And that gave us the hope to fight until the end. And I really feel very pleased with the way of the staff, but also and the players, basically, because we don't play. The coaches, we don't play. At the end, we can help them, but and the way that they handle it, and was amazing. And I think the players will remind that European group stage, and also especially the game against FC Lazio forever.
Sturm Graz at home, a make it or break it match. We knew that we had to win to qualify from the group. You have experienced a lot of things during your career in different teams, national team clubs. Are you getting nervous before a game where it's make it or break it, or how do you prepare yourself for a game like that?
It's not about me, it's about the players, it's about the club. I don't think about myself. Everything what I do is for the club, is for the players, is for the team, is for the staff. That means the way that I prepared was how I can help them to win that game. When we start the group stage and we saw that the last game we play at home against Sturm, everybody will say, okay, if we arrive alive in that game, everybody will sign in that moment. Okay? And that is what happened. And that is also what we talk. And now we have the chance. That is only about to grab the chance. Because this is a moment that you have to grab the chance. It's when you arrive a final. You have to grab the chance. Because otherwise you will regret if you don't grab that chance. And I'm very happy because in the last month it has been difficult with the team. And in that moment we were not in our best moment. In the way that the players perform, how mature they play that game. Of course, we studied a lot as Sturm. We learned a lot from the first game. Was a big football lesson, the first game, the way that they played, the way that they approached the game, the way that means we talk a lot about how to, because we knew that they were going to play in the same way. That means it shows a very mature way of playing, big respect for the players, that they understood how we should attack that game. And also was a game that we didn't drop. We controlled the game from the beginning until the end, against a very good team that also was fighting to qualify. And they won my respect. That means it's nothing about me. It's about, they really won my respect. That is what I want from that game. That, wow, the players, wow.
And looking back now, you know how it ended up, but what are your personal most memorable highlights from the games, or goals, or results? What will you, like in 20 years, what will you think back on from this group stage?
First, the 5-1 against Lazio. I think this is something it will remain in my memory forever. Not only this, I asked for the flag. to Anita, I asked for the flag that I have it in my home as a memory, because I think it's a historical day for me, for the players, especially for the club. I think first the result, the 5-1. Also that it was against Sarri. That is a coach that I admired and that I studied him. This is one of these coaches that in my life you have studied the way of thinking, the way of training, the way of playing with his teams. Also because Pedro was there, that is a friend of mine who was playing there, that I trained him, and also Patri, and also because it's a team that with a lot of history in Europe, not only in European, also in Champions. Then if you talk about what I will remind is the way that Isaacson has performed in Europe. I think it's something that I will remind for a lot of years, to see Isaacson to go to the next level. That everybody was hoping for that, and he just make it. And the impact that he did in the group stage, I think it has been amazing. That is also a thing that I will remind, especially. Another image that it comes is the goal with the set pieces with Eric in Feyenoord. That is also a goal that comes in my mind. But I think these things, I think also I will remember that.
And given all those impressions, like what do you think that the team, the club, your staff can take from the campaign and build on for the future?
In Europe is about experience. I remember I was listening an interview of Guardiola 1 year ago, talking about the experience of clubs like Barcelona or Real Madrid, that they have years and years and years and years and years playing in Europe, And he was talking about this 30, 40 years experience playing in Europe. And he said, Manchester City only will have 7, 8 years experience playing in Europe. One of the best teams in Europe are still talking about how important it is to have experience in Europe to play all these kind of games. Because in the very tight games or in the very important games, this experience, it helps a lot to go farther. Sometimes Real Madrid says is luck that they go a lot of games. People say they have luck. They qualify. They have luck. They won the Champions League because they had luck in a lot of games. It's not luck. Luck is 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But when it happens so many times, I think there is something bigger behind of this. They know how to play these games. They know how to approach these games. And they know that even they have 60, 70 minutes bad game, still they can play good the last 15 minutes and change the game. They have this. And that is something that I was feeling between the lines that Guardiola was saying. And I think he's absolutely right. That means for the history of FC Midtjylland, this qualification, the group stage and coming through and face teams like Feyenoord and Lazio, all these 4 games, but also against Sturm Graz, it helps us for the future to learn, to believe, to confidence, to know that is possible. Maybe we are a smaller club, but still is possible. And I think that it helps for the future.
Going into the helicopter, now we qualify from the group stage. The club has this vision 2025. I'm sure that Klaus told you about it.
Of course.
A lot of times, yeah, aiming to be among the top 50 clubs in Europe on the UEFA ranking. How do you see that as a perspective, both when you took the job, but also now after your first group stage?
No, it's a learning process for the club. That now we know that we can do it. Now we know that we can make it. Now we know that it's possible. And now we are in another stage. We have to play against Sporting Lisboa, and we have to do our best. And again, I said, in the group stage, we can arrive to the last game alive. And now it's the same. That we have to arrive to the second game alive. We will have our chances. And of course, Sporting de Lisboa is a bigger club than us. He's one of the clubs with the longest history in Europa League, with a lot of experience there, with good players and with a good coach. And we know it will not be easy, but we'll try to play this game with hope, with belief, with confidence. And this is absolutely a learning lesson. And if we want to be there in 2025, we really have to approach these games with a lot of courage, because that it will help us for the future.
There were 4 academy players who had their debut during your time as a head coach. But can you try to tell a little about the foundation of the academy and what it means for us as a club, and the strengths of could provide your own young players?
When I came to FC Midtjylland, I knew the club before, and I knew how important is the academy for the club, and the way of thinking about the club. Also, but also developing players to give them the opportunity to play in FC Midtjylland, but also developing players that they can go even in the bigger clubs. And what I am trying as a head coach is to have a very good connection with them. That we talk, we share the information, we are involved in the things what we are doing. We talk about the players, that I know the talents who are coming as good as possible, because if I have a very good picture from the talents who are coming, for me it's easier to give them the chance to play for the first team, but also that the players have the feeling, I have the feeling that the staff of the first team, they know us. That means to watch the under-19 games, to when they play with the national teams. So for me, is very important, and I think that is for the club as well. And now we will have the new academy. I think that it will help to go to the next level as well, to to give a better environment, more resources to the young players to increase the chances that in the future they will have success.
The preseason
Yes.
awaits after a well-deserved period with holidays, so we can load the batteries both mentally and physical. When, as you said before, it's no secret that we have not performed the way that we wanted to in the Danish league. So can you try to tell a bit on your reflections on what are the main areas to work on during the preseason to be in an even better condition when we start the league again?
Something that we have to do it better. That is, we have to play more aggressive. But I need to have 55% more possession, at least, because that allowed us to, when we lose the ball, to be much more aggressive in our repressure, in our 5-second rule. It's not good enough at all. When we lose the ball, still is too slow. The players stop 2-3 meters before that. They don't go with the will to steal the ball. That is something that we have to do it better in the future, and it's one of the aspects of the game that I expect that we can see that when we lose the ball, we are much more aggressive. That is one aspect of the game. The second aspect of the game is if we can have 55, maximum 60%. I don't want 80% more possession. I don't need that. This is for Barcelona. We are building something different here. Okay? What I expect is that when we win the ball, we make quicker counterattacks and we arrive with more players into the box quicker. That we can score goals in the next 7, 8, 9 seconds once we win the ball. But it's easier when you win the ball back with more players, then it's easier to play around and make a counterattack. That is why you cannot do that if you don't have a very good pressure. And that is something that all the aspects of the game are aligned. You cannot do one thing without the other thing. Then, still, we need to make more deep runs. Our deep runs are not enough. We need to put more balls behind the defense line. That means our wingers, they have to do more fake movements. And we have to bring more the ball in a situation that allowed us to put more balls behind. And that means we have to work a lot in our last third. And of course, arriving into the box. There is a lot of times that we arrive with 1 or 2 players only, and we have to arrive at least with 3 players minimum. That means the opposite winger and the opposite midfielder, they have to invest more, arriving closer, get a better shot positions, closer, that increase the chances to score. Is something that also we have to improve. The rest defense, when we lose the ball. We know we work a lot these 3 months. We have to invest a lot of that. And then the confidence of the players. That there are players that they are not reaching their level. And sometimes a new coach is coming with new ideas, with new way of thinking. And maybe a player thinks, maybe I don't like him. Or maybe I don't want to disappoint the coach. Because they want to do the right thing. And it's good that. But at the end, football is a game, is creativity. That means also you need that the players, they take their own initiative. And it's something that you have to work in the mental part, that they have more belief, that they know that they are good players, that they can do it, more belief. And we show that in Europe, but in league it looks sometimes that we don't believe in ourselves enough. That we have to give them more positive energy to the players, even more belief, and maybe a little bit more freedom.
And the room you're gonna get now to work with for the improvements is like you have 1 month in Denmark, January, then you have approx 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks in Portugal. How will these conditions help you to improve the assets of the play and the team spirit in the preseason?
Oh, for a lot. Because we talk about the staff, but also with the players. I have the time to talk with the players, to take individual meetings, but not only about the game, also personally, to know them to know them deeply. Because now of course, I have a good relation with the players, and I like them so much. But still, we have to build also this trust. It's something that we have to invest, and now we will have the chance. We will not play so many friendly games. I want to train. I want to have nice football trainings that the players can laugh, can enjoy, can have fun, but also that they learn the basics, the concepts, to find this balance, between tactics and structure, but also between the freedom and fun and energy and positiveness. It will help us a lot. And we played a lot of games. That is what I decided to do, less friendly games in pre-season. That's also why we decide to stay in Portugal, that after our stage in Portugal we can go directly to play the game, that we avoid also traveling time that is also tiring us. That maybe can help us, at least is what we think, that it can help us. And also the players, they will have the chance to show me how good they are. Because when you are playing and training, a lot of times you cannot train because you have to take care of your body and boom. And it's difficult to give the chance that players maybe they are not playing enough, because I think it will help us a lot. But I am really looking forward. I would love if I can start tomorrow, because we know what we want to do. And I want to share with them that as quick as possible, but it's important for them that they go home, they get the rest, they get the freshness, they stay with the families, they with friends, they have fun, and they can take away some football things. And when we will meet each other, the 3rd of January, then we can start again. I'm really looking forward.